Eikichi Suzuki, a 17-year-old boy, purchased a doll at the Grand Sapporo Exposition on August 15, 1918. A short bob cut, or okappa in Japanese, adorned the doll's kimono. He purchased it for his 3-year-old sister, Kikuko. The doll was a constant companion for little Kikuko-chan, who would play with it non-stop and even sleep with it. She kept her beloved plaything close at all times. However, the next year, the little daughter tragically contracted pneumonia after a terrible cold. Variants state that yellow fever was the culprit. As part of the cremation ritual, Japanese families and friends often place little keepsakes or objects of sentimental value in the coffin so that the departed may carry them with them into the hereafter. Some item that may make them feel better. The term for this is fukusōhin, meaning grave goods in English. Guests are invited to place these items on the casket at a certain time before or during the funeral ceremony. However, I'm sure the exact time varies from region to region in Japan. Right after all the prayers and remarks from loved ones were spoken, we did it here in my town when Oju-chan died away. Julian, my son, penned and delivered the eulogy. Following tradition, he put the handwritten speech back in the envelope it had been in, which had Oji-chan's name, and sealed it. After then, Oji-chan was requested by the funeral director to be the first to lay the casket next to his hand. The thing is, he accomplished it. Yes, just before the cremation. Everyone who has anything to offer sets it next to the corpse, maybe even writing a few words on it. However, there are a few guidelines. Everything must be combustible and non-hazardous, as it will be incinerated with the corpse. Things that people often bring to memorial services include photographs, letters addressed to the deceased, treats that they liked, and mementos from their hobbies or other interests. For example, it would be fitting for a fisherman's coffin to have his beloved fishing cap. However, there are regulations, and many things are not allowed, such as anything that could impede the cremation process. Watches, rings, and glasses made of metal or glass will not completely burn. The obvious rule is that anything that may explode is off limits, regardless of how much your loved one enjoys fireworks. That includes anything that, when burnt, may release toxic gases. Some textiles, polymers, and similar substances. Think about how much the little girl Kikuko-chan would have wanted the doll her older brother had given her to accompany her on her journey to the other side, if she had been 4 years old at the time. The relatives undoubtedly wanted to bestow it to her. Maybe it was too late when they remembered, since they were so distraught. It might also have been because the materials used to make it were too toxic for that specific crematorium. Regardless of the cause. The girl's remains were not cremated with it. The family decided it was okay and placed her urn on their butsudan, or family altar. Next to it, they placed her beloved doll. Thus, they were very much inseparable. The family worshipped at the altar daily in honor of their beloved Kikuko. Things didn't seem out of the ordinary until after a few months had passed. The doll's hair had grown to reach its shoulders from its initial short okappa cut, which was straight across just below the ears. The consensus was that the doll contained Kikuko's soul. As a result, Japan joined the war in 1938. Eikichi was forced to leave Sapporo and go north due to being conscripted. In some tales, Eikichi is the only one who leaves. In others, the entire family does. In this one, everyone packed up their sister's ashes and doll and brought them to a nearby temple named Maninji for safekeeping. I don't understand why the family passed. I am uncertain. The creep factor is increased by this little piece of missing information. Normally, her family would welcome her and her doll into their home without question. Perhaps they were trying to get rid of it because something was wrong. Maybe not, however, since they go back to the shrine and pay their respects to her after 7 years. The monks have been tenderly tending to the doll, which houses Kikuko's soul, and they call her Okiku. Surprisingly, however, the hair had grown longer yet. Now it had lost everything save its waist. A ritual was instituted to give the hair a little trim. That recovered. In an effort to placate the spirit, the family then requested that the temple hold it forever and pray over it. They agreed and carried it out. Continuing even now,